Cold as the night as a group of friends sneak out late at night. There is no real need for them to sneak out. They're all adults and they're in a place where they belong, but there is a quiet thrill in sneaking, and it's necessary for the ritual to work. They all carry candles with them, though is unlit, and they make their way to the library in the College of Technology. Even though the library is open 24 hours a day, it is quiet, as most of the students and professors are asleep. The librarian doesn't even look up from their book at the circulation desk. The friends are that quiet as they walk casually but quietly through the library, going through the first few aisles where there are books, and they walk with quiet practice as they make it first into the part of the library where all of the shelves are empty of books. And they travel deeper into a part of the library that is even darker, where there's still books on the shelves, books that the university was too busy and too lazy to remove from the shelves. In a very quiet section of the hidden part of the library, they find a familiar table. Like the rest of the section, the table is free of dust, and so are the chairs. And above the table is a single light bulb, still strong and still burning, but the only light source visible from the table. Everyone takes their seats. There are 5 seats around the circular table, and there are 6 people. The sixth chair was carried by one of them to set up for her sister. They sit equidistant from each other. They all set their own candles in front of themselves. One red candle, dragon blood scented. Even unburnt, the smell is sweet and reassuring, a comfort during dark times, one that can represent spiritual centering, but in this case it is brought because the color and smell is a comfort to the one whose name is as bloody as the candle, and whose spirit is as sweet as the scent of the candle. One orange candle, the largest candle brought by the smallest member of the friends. Despite its color, the smell is of caramel and fall, a scent of familiarity and warmth during cold autumn nights, but also one that is easily mistaken for something else. If you only look at the candle, you might think it smells of pumpkin or perhaps orange blossoms. If you know the young woman who carried the candle into the library, you would know that judging the candle by its look was as poor a choice as judging the one who carried it by her looks. One green candle, the scent is one of pine and clean, maybe better suited for Saturnalia, certainly better suited for making a college dorm smelling sweet than for a ritual held in the dark of an unknown library. The candle will still serve its purpose, even if it's a mystery of why it was chosen or why it was an appropriate choice. Much like the man who carried it, he is ignored by many who only notice him when he is gone. But among his friends, he is always noticed and always appreciated. One light blue candle, the scent is called River Sunset. The scent is difficult to discern, but it is there. A scent that conjures a feeling of being lost, where you're following the river hoping to find your way home. And instead, what you're finding is pleasant sights, and you're so caught up in the sights that you lose track of time and the sun is going down. The woman who carried the candle can talk a lot because she listens a lot. She often has riddles and pleasant thoughts to share, but just as easily she can snare people in her words and never let them go. One dark blue candle, the scent is deep ocean. The scent reminds of salt water and ocean spray, though not of the ocean on the beach nor anywhere else the ocean is supposed to be at. It is the scent of smelling salt water while traveling through a desert. It is ocean spray that wakes you up from a deep sleep, a warning of illness before it gets worse. The woman who carries this candle chose a close color to her sisters. They like to confuse others who don't know them personally. Her scent is as much a warning as it is a comfort to herself, a reminder that she is away from home, not as a lost traveler, but as an invasive or introduced species. One white candle. This candle is the smallest, being only a tea light. It will burn long enough for their purposes, and the candle is an important part of the ritual. The man who carries the candle has a ring on his right middle finger that looks like it is made of steel. He feels like he is the weakest of his friends and that he is the least interesting, so he has chosen to go last, letting the weakest candle burn the longest. The friends are all sat down. The light above is burning bright as a lighter is passed around the circle, lighting all of the candles one by one. Each person takes the time to only light the candle in front of them. The candles all lit, the smallest among them flies up to reach the light bulb 10 feet above and twists the bulb just enough that the light goes out, but not enough that the bulb goes out. Now, in near total darkness, all of the friends sit in front of the candles, letting the light dance in front of them. The candles warm and brighten the room, but already the first part of the ritual has begun. There is no exit from this room anymore. The way they came from is blocked by a bookshelf filled with books. All of the shelves are full of books written in titles of stories that were never written in their own world. They all know that the first part of the ritual is done and that they have to carefully begin the next part. Each of the friends remove a single sweet from their possession and leave it in the center of the table, careful not to burn themselves on the fire. Marceline leaves an ounce bag of gummy isopods in the center of the table. Her favorite treat is perfect for Feralia, Saturnalia, Parentalia, Fornicalia, or even for street fair. A treat that has a long history and just as easily one that can be enjoyed anywhere. One that has a lot of meaning but also can be obtained almost anywhere. These treats were taken from her bag where she always carried some. She didn't notice she offered two different bags, one sweet and one sour, both gummy isopods, one from her, one also from her. Fallen Grace offers an iced tea cake, one that was made by hand in the cooking class with help from her younger sister. Fallen Grace still went to great effort to ice and decorate the cake herself. The icing is milk chocolate with white chocolate Jolly Roger on top of it, a favorite treat of the one they were trying to summon, but even so, Fallen Grace couldn't help but do her own spin on it. Her own expression, even in a gift meant for someone else, a small inkling of fear inside herself that it makes the gift worth less, and another part of herself that insists that the gift is more valuable because of it. Hell pulls out his gift for the being they are trying to summon, a thermos of hot chocolate that he made from purchased ingredients from the street market. The milk is still warm and sweet, steam rising from the cap of the thermos as he poured the drink, filling it part of the way as he opened a bag of maple marshmallows that he poured into the thermos. He did a lot of research on creatures, and he knows that they love cream, milk, and sweets. So he chose whole milk because the fat that is used in cream is still there. Chocolate is sweet, and the marshmallows are added because it is a traditional way to make it sweeter, and maple marshmallows are even sweeter than the normal ones. Summer is the next to offer up a treat. Her silver earring in her right ear glitters as her tattooed right hand offers her treat. She offers a cupcake that she bought from the bakery. A dry chocolate cupcake with white icing is more than a little smeared from the travel, offered in the same cup that it is used to travel from the bakery to the library. The cupcake was once beautifully crafted, but the traveling has made it smeared inside the cup, and more of the icing is inside the cup than on the cupcake. The cake is still edible and still sweet when offered in the center of the table. Autumn, nearly identical to her sister, except the tattoo is on her left wrist and her piercing is stainless steel and through her left ear, even though both ears are pierced. Autumn's cupcake offered is a strawberry shortcake with cream cheese frosting, carefully carried from her home in a cup, but this frosting is not smeared, and she carefully removes it from the cup, leaving it in the center of the table, proud of her own hard work, baking and icing her cake. She does not know that the cream cheese she used was expired, and that the cake would make a person sick if they ate it. Dylan is the last to offer his gift to the center of the table. Inside a small plastic bag, he removes a soul cake. Shaped like the biscuit, the flat pastry is shaped with a cross on top and confectioner's double-A sugar, the sugar that looks like crystals. The cake has a few raisins inside, and it was Dylan's first attempt at baking ever since going to college. He tried a few and he thought they tasted all right, so he laid out a napkin and rested his soul cake on top. Hopeful that it was an accepted gift, but seeing his own treat compared to everyone else's, he wanted to disappear into his chair. Even though they did not coordinate, everyone brought something different, and they all poured just a bit of themselves into their gifts. 7 gifts sat in the center of the table, surrounded by 6 candles, and sat around the table are 6 different souls. They sat in silence for the next part of the ritual. The silence remains as the candles all flickered and something in the air changed again. The scents were all mixed and mixing, but now only one scent could be smelled. The scent of dragon blood was the only scent around the table. The other candles are still burning, but their scent is not one that can be smelled. Marceline was chosen first. She leans forward as the flickering of her candle accents her scar over her eye. In the low light, as the candle flickers, her hair appears to change as she speaks. Sometimes her hair is straight past her shoulders, and sometimes it is short and curled as she speaks. She does not notice, and while the others notice, they do not say anything. They only listen to the first story as a soft voice speaks in the darkness. She speaks for herself, but she does not know what herself means. The first story is told, soon to be followed by the second. 6 candles burn, 5 sweets rest in the center of the table. 1 person shares a story. 7 listen to the story. 5 are seen, 2 remain unseen. When the event occurred, many places that were thought safe were swiftly abandoned to the enemy. The cities were hurt first as whatever lived in the mines below made their way above. The water was contaminated and all who drank it were changed into the enemy. Monstrous forms that sought to wipe out all of human life. Humanity abandoned the cities and made their way to the countryside to set up refuge. The water was clean and the enemy mostly stayed in the cities and the mines. Mostly. The children are safe. So, beyond the railways, people come to gather in the countryside where food is grown and safety is found. There you will find many vendors, some carrying goods taken from the cities. Others have food and drink that was made in the countryside. The peace is great and the mood is light, with feelings of joy and celebration drifting along the scent and smoke, and you can find a lot of information about the event. And even if most people don't want to talk about it, the children are safe. The event doesn't affect those of monstrous form, so they often act as protectors and they are willing to go into the cities. You might be able to approach one of them and ask them for more information, but it doesn't mean they will answer. They may want something in exchange, or maybe they just don't want you risking your life to enter the cities or the mines, gain from the treasures that are there. The children are safe. The countryside is organized for fun. The food trucks have plenty to offer, and Senti is still taken. Imperial currency holds its value even after the event. There is a corn maze for exploring, hay rides, pie contests, pumpkins to harvest, and lanterns to carve. Plenty to do, and it is a genuine joy to participate in. There's even face painting, apple ciders, and animals to pet. In any other circumstance, this would be a place for children to be safe. There's a quiet sense of fear everywhere. Even though the monsters are protectors, they are not trusted by all of humanity. Some of it is fear of the unknown or even the fear of monsters, but a lot of the fear is the thought that the enemy may disguise itself as a helpful monster to lull others into a sense of safety for harming them like helpless children. Still, to those who are brave enough, they may decide to go from the countryside to the railroad. The rail yard that brings people from the city also offers a way for people to head back into the city. It isn't safe for children. The rail yard can only be accessed by going beyond the hay maze. There's a few secret routes that lead to the rail yard, but the best way to sneak by is to convince the monsters guarding the way that you are one of them. If you get deep enough into a hay maze and you find the crossroads with only 4 paths, you then find the 5th path, and it will lead to the secluded area where the monsters lie. You will always find 3 monsters protecting the exit from the hay maze and the rail yard. Always 3. If there are more than 3, then you are not allowed to leave to the rail yard. If there are less than 3, then you are in the wrong place, and the exit is not open for you. The first monster is a fae that refuses to speak, a fairy that will not be matched by riddles, who will not want food, and who fears gold rather than iron, a fairy from Hibernaria, who is well known but not well understood, one that is notorious but leaves no survivors of his victims, a monster that will never look you in the eye, who is as quick as lightning and who you don't want to ever stop moving. Should he stop moving, someone or something will die. The second monster is even crueler than the first. He looks like a beautiful woman at first. She wears a cotton mask that mostly hides her mouth. She does not like it when anyone stares at her face. She carries many knives and she never misses. She only cuts what she intends to cut, and she cuts as deep or as shallow as she wants. If you can answer her riddle, she will accept you as a monster. But if you answer it wrong and she thinks you're the enemy in disguise, she will kill you before you even realize what you did wrong. If you answer and she thinks you aren't a monster, her knives will make sure that you leave the hay maze a monster. Maybe she'll let you try again since you are a monster now, if you can stop the bleeding. The final monster is the strangest and most dangerous of them all. No one has ever seen this monster directly. They only see it in pieces. It can only be seen in full in the mirrors scattered across the hay maze. The mirrors let the monster see you, and they also gaze back even if you don't see them. Be careful because in the hay maze, if you are there, they see you, they hear you, they know you. Maybe they've seen you outside the maze too. Can you keep acting like a monster the entire time in the hay maze? Can you be a monster long enough to fool all of the monsters in the hay maze into thinking you belong? Or maybe you do make it through the countryside. You find masks, you fool the monster in the mirrors, you fool the hay maze, and they let you into the rail yard. Would you want to go there? The enemy lives there, and even though you may find the next step to your journey, like many journeys, you can back out, go back at this point. But if you keep going forward, you will keep moving forward. There may be more chances to turn back, but turning back may change you more than going forward. And it's and of course, there is always the chance that the same monsters that let you out of the hay maze may not let you come back.